MicroStrategy's Michael Saylor explains his $425 million bet on BTC. Business intelligence firm MicroStrategy's founder and CEO, Michael Saylor, announced on Twitter that MicroStrategy was doubling down on the godfather cryptocurrency with the purchase of $175 million more BTC. "I want something that I could put $425 million into for 100 years, Saylor said. In the last 2 months, Saylor has transformed his company's once sleepy cash surplus into a nearly $500 million bet on Bitcoin, the digital gold Saylor is certain will outlast his tenure. "If my successor is staring at this thing, it's still working," he said. "This thing is a heaping pile of 38,250 bitcoins. The publicly traded firm bought $250 million worth on August the 11th, 2020, days after telling shareholders that cash was no longer a safe place for its excess $500 million. On the 15th of September 2020, he bought $175 million more. Forget about parking the balance sheet surplus in inflation-prone cash or low-yield bonds or overextended tech stocks, Saylor said. In a market like this, and in the true future he said is certain to come, there are only 2 good places to put excess cash to work: stock buybacks and Bitcoin. It's a radical U-turn for a man who 7 years ago declared Bitcoin's days were numbered. What sparked that change? "I went down the rabbit hole during COVID-19, Saylor said, admitting he was wrong to have doubted Bitcoin back in the $600 range. "I wish I knew then what I know now," he said. The first step in his journey to conversion came from an unlikely source for a newly minted Bitcoin maximalist: the sale of the voice.com domain to EOS creator Block.one for $30 million in July 2019. Fast forward to 2020, and Saylor found himself reading up on Bitcoin. He learned as much about crypto as fast as he could. Saylor said he pored over essays by Bitcoin luminaries, listened to Nathaniel Whitmore's and Anthony Pompliano's crypto podcasts, scoured the internet for Peter Schiff's Bitcoin debates with Eric Voorhees, and lost himself in Andreas Antonopoulos' media empire. COVID-19's global business woes were actually a boon for MicroStrategy, Saylor said. Saylor said the firm soon realized it had far more cash on hand than it needed to operate in a newly streamlined virtual-first world. Moving away from the dollar is now Saylor's prime concern. He said he can't stand the inflationary risk. In Bitcoin, he and the firm's decision-makers have found what they deem the obvious choice for the coming century. "I started to cheerfully assign homework to MicroStrategy's executives and directors," Saylor said. He staged a series of learning exercises to bring everyone up to speed. If MicroStrategy was really going to move millions into Bitcoin, then everyone had to be on board. How to go all in. "There was a lot of ground to cover," Saylor said. But in 3 months' time, he and his executives had accrued the crypto education and dealt with the myriad legal, custodial, and security issues that he said stand in the way of publicly trading companies getting into crypto. Then in late July, executives unveiled the game plan on the firm's Q2 earnings call. MicroStrategy would seek to invest up to $250 million in the next 12 months in one or more alternative investments or assets, which may include stocks, bonds, commodities such as gold, digital assets such as Bitcoin, or other asset types, MicroStrategy resident Fong Li said on July the 28th.